Bickley and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
It is just our luck in this forsaken sports town of ours that we get our very first NBA super team when the concept and the blueprint no longer works. Because while the Suns are 2 games away from elimination, super teams seem to be on the brink of extinction, mostly because the one in Phoenix is failing so spectacularly. Now, like most super teams, the Suns are far too top-heavy, especially in an era that emphasizes roster construction. They are clearly not connected. They don't communicate well, and this particular super team bucks the current trend by not hoisting up an abundance of three-point shots. Now, there are many heavy, awful questions as to what will become of this team if they flame out in the first round, because you certainly can't bring this team back, not with its behavioral issues, its lackadaisical nature, its unlikability, because no one is going to break an ankle jumping on a bandwagon for a disconnected, dispassionate, chilling basketball team. So, what will it be, Phoenix Suns? Are you going to be sturdy, hold, serve, and punch back, or are you going to cement a legacy as one of the worst chapters in Suns basketball and the very last super team to roam the earth right before the meteor showed up?
Oh, yes. 1 day away from Game 3 of this series back in Phoenix, Bick. Can the Suns get in the win column?
Mm-hmm.
I feel still comfortable saying that's the focus of most people in Phoenix, Arizona. Can the Suns make this a series?
Mm-hmm.
Gauging from what is out there in the national media, from Stephen A. Smith saying, hey, I'm ready to say that this series is over. But let's face it, he says that about every series, every game. It's over. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
But the national media has kind of moved on from this series already. And
Yeah.
they're looking at this, what you talked about, the spectacular failure of another super team and what that means going into the summertime. Let's get into this.
All right.
We're going to talk a lot about this series, Game 3 tomorrow, as neither one of us is convinced that the series is over. But again, reflecting what the national media is saying. On the Bill Simmons podcast, he had Kevin O'Connor on. Listen to this.
Are we going to be making up Devin Booker trades in late June?
Booker before Durant, or both? I'd be intrigued from the Phoenix side of things of just blowing things up completely, considering if you do suffer a first-round loss, worst-case scenario sweep, you got to be looking at the drawing board saying there's literally nothing that we can do. You don't have future assets. You don't have young players to trade.
And you're not allowed to sign free agents because you're over the second April.
Yes. And not only that, the swaps that you've already traded, sometimes you've traded the swaps twice, further diminishing the value of your pick swaps. Like, they've tried to get creative with the limited amount of assets they have, but they got nothing to make significant moves. And this is a fundamentally flawed team.
What if you traded Booker and Durant? What if you traded Durant to the Warriors? I don't know. This is the kind of stuff. The point is, I was thinking about this stuff during the fourth quarter of that game where I was like, wow, this is now officially like we're in blow it upville, as you would call it.
It is entering that neighborhood because of the fact they have nothing that they can do. And ultimately, it should be
at the stop sign going, wait, is that a right turn to blow it upville?
Yeah, listen, this is the third rail for Suns fans. Yes. This is the conversation nobody wants to have. This is the conversation that Devin Booker starts screaming in response to, but it's out there. It's not out there locally, but nationally, people are looking at these first 2 games and going, okay, if this thing continues trending the way it's going, and if this Minnesota defense continues to keep the Suns offense in jail, what are the Suns going to do?
Yeah. Well, if we hit the airwaves Monday morning at 6 a.m. and this series is over, I'm a lot more comfortable going down that road. Again, we're playing this as a reflection because that is what people are asking.
Yes.
Again, because of the disappointing nature of this team. Now, I will say I think the national media, when things don't work out with with a super team, they take a special kind of joy.
There's no doubt.
That.
There's no doubt.
We've seen it in situations past.
But you know what I'm mad about? I am mad that this Phoenix Suns team didn't do what I thought they were going to do, and that is pop big, 65-plus win kind of big. I'm mad that they have been such a failure relative to expectations, because if they were what they could be, if they were this unstoppable offensive juggernaut, could you imagine the positive attention they'd be getting? That it's really a shame that this is what we're dealing with and this is what we're talking about. And again, this, as Vinny said, this is a reflection of what is being said about this basketball team. And you would think, as a basketball team that has responded to national media criticism on certain points this season, if they actually do like each other, they'd take offense to that and they'd realize the stakes. And they'd realize we better get this together or they might blow us up.
Yeah, here's another point from Bill Simmons from that same podcast that seems like it's very, very much looking at a series that's over and a failed experiment.
I wrote down, this is why you need a point guard. The Suns, they were smarter than all of us, right? It was like, we're just going to trade everything for Durant. We're going to be the team that takes Bradley Beal. We don't need role players. We're the team that's going to figure out Nurkic as a reliable center, and then you're watching it just fall apart.
Look, we talked about that last summer when the Bradley Beal trade went down. I was like, "Ooh, this is intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
It could be devastating.
Mm-hmm.
It'll also be devastating if it doesn't work."
Mm-hmm.
I'm not comfortable pinning all of the Suns' problems offensively on the lack of a point guard, but man, they could have used one. And right now the reality of it is, you are going into game 85 this season without having a point guard on your roster. If that doesn't drive home the importance of taking better care of the basketball, nothing will.
Listen,
so that's the frustrating part for me right now.
I am comfortable saying that point guard is at the root of their issues. And like I said, I think it's going to be number one. I think hiring Frank Vogel as a defensive-minded coach when this team should be built on offense instead of hiring a Mike D'Antoni type of hire, I think that might rank as number two. There are people out there, because I saw it, who think that the Suns should get dramatic here and bench Bradley Beal, bring him off the bench, and start Isaiah Thomas at point guard. I saw that yesterday, and I thought, okay, basketball teams, when they get truly desperate, they will try stuff like that. But is there anything about Isaiah Thomas's appearances that lead you to believe he could handle 28 minutes of playing point guard?
No. They had an opportunity to see what they had in Isaiah Thomas in meaningful minutes in the regular season. They chose not to do it. He is there for a specific reason. And I hate to pile on Isaiah Thomas because I think he has been a positive light for this team since he's been here with what he's done and taking pride in being a teammate and being a bench guy. But the fact that Isaiah Thomas, when he comes in at garbage time and looks incapable of scoring a basket, and then you look at the fact that he averaged 36 points in a handful of G League games, that to me is an indictment on the G League. But, again, they had the opportunities to kick the tires to see what they had, and they chose not to do it.
Well, listen, 20 turnovers in a playoff game, which is what we saw in Game 2, it is unacceptable. If you are a team with championship aspirations, you've got to be a lot more connected and buttoned down than that. So it starts with that on Friday night. They're going to have to take care of the basketball, and they're going to have to be tough, and Devin Booker's going to have to make shots. And, we'll see what's in them.
Yeah, it's weird, too, because the people that are looking at this series from the Suns' standpoint, I think half of them are saying, where's Kevin Durant? And half of them are saying, where's Devin Booker? So, they're looking at two of the big three right now and wondering, hey, why are you not doing more for your team? Fair questions.
Well,
Devin Booker's numbers are way down.
KD was really good in Game 1, I thought. I would not put those two on an equal scale.
But I think when you also consider the historic reputations, and Kevin Durant's been doing it for so long, and his playoff numbers are just ridiculous off the charts. What happened in Game 2 to him, it's fair. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's not equal, but they are both being looked at right now in terms of culpability.
All right.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.